Welcome back to Plot Explained. Today we're diving into one of the most suspenseful thrillers of the early 2000s. It's a tense survival story about a mother and daughter trapped inside their own home, while three dangerous intruders try to break in. Stick with me till the end, because this one is packed with edge-of-your-seat suspense, brutal confrontations, and some shocking twists. So let's break it down. The story begins with Meg Altman, a recently divorced woman, and her young daughter Sarah moving into a new townhouse in New York City. The house is huge, and during the tour they discover something unusual: a heavily fortified room hidden behind steel doors. It's called a panic room, designed to keep its occupants safe from burglars or attackers. It's loaded with surveillance monitors, an independent phone line, food, water, and reinforced concrete walls. Meg doesn't think much of it at first, but she jokes that maybe this kind of paranoia is exactly what she needs after a messy divorce. Sarah, being smart and curious, is fascinated by the panic room. Neither of them realizes that by the very next night, this strange room will be the only thing keeping them alive. That same evening, after they move in, three men enter the townhouse. Burnham, an expert in home security, Raoul, a masked and ruthless criminal, and Junior, the nervous grandson of the home's previous owner. They're there to steal a hidden fortune locked inside the panic room itself. Meg, half asleep, notices sounds in the house. When she gets up to investigate, she sees the intruders. Panicked, she wakes Sarah, and the two rush to the panic room just seconds before the men realize someone is inside the house. They slam the heavy steel door shut, locking themselves inside. From the monitors, Meg and Sarah can see every corner of the house. At first they think they're safe, but then the truth sets in. The very thing the men want is hidden inside the panic room. The burglars quickly make their intentions clear. They need to get into the panic room at all costs. Meg tries calling 911, but the panic room's phone line hasn't been connected yet. The landline outside is useless to her, and cell phone signal barely works inside the concrete walls. They're trapped, unable to leave, unable to call for help, and stuck face-to-face with the intruders on the other side of the steel door. Sarah tries to remain calm, but Meg notices her daughter is starting to sweat and shiver. Sarah is diabetic, and without her medication, her condition could spiral dangerously fast. Hours pass, and the men try everything to get them out. They slam the door, attempt to pry it open, but the panic room was built for exactly this: holding out against attackers. Frustrated, Raoul comes up with a crueler plan. They drag in heavy propane tanks from the basement, attach hoses, and feed the gas directly into the vents of the panic room. From the monitors, Meg and Sarah watch in horror as Raoul twists the valves open. The room quickly begins to fill with a toxic haze. Meg grabs whatever rags she can find, desperately trying to block the vents, but it's useless. The gas keeps seeping in. Sarah coughs violently, and Meg realizes they could suffocate within minutes. Thinking fast, she rigs up a lighter and sets a small fire in one of the vents. The flame ignites the propane, creating a huge backdraft explosion that forces the men to shut off the supply. For a moment, the danger passes, but Sarah is pale and weak. The lack of insulin is pushing her into a crisis, and Meg knows they can't survive much longer like this. Meg seizes a chance when the men are distracted and sends out an SOS message. Hours later, her ex-husband Steven arrives at the house, responding to the call. He has no idea of the danger inside. As soon as he enters, the burglars ambush him. Meg and Sarah, watching helplessly from the monitors, scream as Raoul brutally beats Steven. Junior tries to stop him, but Raoul is too violent, smashing Steven against the floor until he collapses in a pool of blood. The intruders drag his limp body away, leaving Meg and Sarah terrified he might be dead. Tensions boil over within the burglars group. Junior, overwhelmed and shaken by the violence, wants to give up and leave. But Raoul refuses. He came for the money, and he's not going anywhere without it. When Junior insists, Raoul finally snaps. In a shocking moment, he raises his gun and shoots Junior point blank, killing him instantly. The group has gone from bad to worse. Now there's no turning back. With Junior dead, only Burnham and Raoul remain, and Raoul is more dangerous than ever. Inside the panic room, Sarah's condition deteriorates further. She goes into a diabetic seizure, convulsing on the floor. Meg knows she needs insulin immediately, but the bag with Sarah's medicine is outside the panic room. Time is running out. Meg steels herself and makes the terrifying decision to leave their safe haven. She waits until the intruders are distracted, then cracks open the heavy door and quietly slips out into the pitch-dark house. Every creak of the floorboards feels like a death sentence. She moves fast, her heartbeat pounding in her ears until she spots Sarah's bag. She digs through it with trembling hands, finally pulling out the insulin and syringe. But just as she turns back toward the panic room, things take a dark twist. From the corner of her eye, Meg sees movement. The intruders are nearby. She ducks into the shadows, holding her breath, trying not to make a sound. In those tense seconds, Burnham seizes the opportunity. He moves swiftly and manages to slip into the panic room through the partially open door. For Meg, it's a nightmare come true. The very sanctuary she trusted is no longer safe. Meg panics, pounding on the steel door, begging the intruders for her daughter's medication. Burnham, despite being a criminal, shows a flicker of humanity. He slides the insulin inside, saving Sarah's life for the moment. This small act puts him at odds with Raoul, who is furious at the idea of helping their captives. But Burnham's conscience has begun to turn. Inside the panic room, Burnham did his work and got the papers of money they were here for. Night reaches its peak when Meg makes a desperate escape attempt. Carrying her weakened daughter, she rushes from the panic room, trying to reach safety. But Raoul intercepts them. In a terrifying sequence, he pins Meg down inside the panic room itself, his hands tightening around her throat. Sarah screams, helpless, as Meg's gasps grow weaker. Just as it seems Meg will be killed, Burnham acts. Breathing hard, Burnham stands over the body, shaken by what he's done. For all his flaws, in this moment, he's the one who saved Meg and Sarah's lives. Moments later, the police arrive, responding to the earlier signals. They find Raoul dead, Junior gone, and Burnham surrounded. Meg and Sarah are pulled to safety while Burnham is taken away in handcuffs. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more tense movie explanations like this, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Plot Explained for more thrilling stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.